want to make sure to bring your cloth with you, so if your hands get sweaty or oily, it's readily available. You really want to think about utilizing your bars as much as you can to kind of just do like a tiny little chin up almost every time you step around the table. And that's just so that your client doesn't feel every little move. It should be more of a secret to where you are. So you're just going to lift yourself up ever so slightly and step near the low back. Generally, rule of thumb is that whatever leg and foot is closest to the body is the one that's going to be your working foot, and your other foot is going to be your standing foot. So we're just going to utilize our bars and hang on. We can actually just hang on to one side or both, whatever feels better for your shoulders. And then we're just going to do some nice gliding effleurage to the low back. Really thinking about utilizing that whole foot pressure again, and then dipping the heel down into the side of the glute, coming back across, doing the same thing on the other side. And really think about maintaining your body over top of yourself, because again, that's going to give you more pressure and you're not going to have to lift yourself up as much. You shouldn't really be lifting yourself up too much in these positions because your body weight is doing a lot of the work here. And then we can go into some figure eights with our feet. So just creating that nice gliding action and making a figure eight with our whole foot. So just a nice little warm up for the low back. Then we can drop that heel into the QL, and this is called QL Love. Everybody loves this who has tight QLs. So we're gonna think about it's called a heel wave. So basically we're gonna think about waving our toes as our heel kind of comes a little further into the QL. And we're just gonna rock the body back and forth. The more you kind of sway your body into this, you're just gonna utilize a little bit more of the back, getting above and below the QL. We can do something called melting as well, which is basically just finding the QL with the heel and then dropping that heel down into the QL and just hanging out there. Putting a little bit of pressure, maybe moving it around just a little bit, utilizing our bars, lifting up just ever so slightly to add a little bit more pressure. And then you can go back into your effleurage for your back, low back. So you're just gonna glide the foot across the low back, just utilizing your body over top of yourself as you come across to the other side, so that way you get a little bit more pressure from your body weight. And you're gonna drop that heel down into the glute a little bit. Same thing with the other side. And then we can go into our figure eights. So we're just basically gonna draw an 8 with our foot. Really just crossing the 8 over top of the SI joints and dropping the heel down into the top of the glute and bringing it back across. Then we can move into QL Love. So we're just gonna find the QL with our heel, and we're gonna think about heel waving. So waving the toes and dropping the heel a little bit more down into the QL. And the more we utilize our bars and rocking back and forth, we're really gonna get a little bit over top of the QL and below the QL. So we're just going to do something called melt. So we're basically just gonna put a little bit more pressure into our heel, and we're just gonna hang out on the QL. And we can utilize our bars a little bit just by lifting ourselves up ever so slightly. And just a little bit of movement in there is good, but basically we're melting into the QL. And then back to our QL love.